You're watching Focus on the Noise. I'm Ed. Today I am talking to technicians. Do you have customers that have asked you for, multiple suggestions? They're going to get comparable quotes, yada, yada, yada. Is it in your head that they're not buying? That's not true. They're just not buying from you. What added value have you added to the customer? Have you explained what the system expectations are going to do? Are you that guy that goes out and offers the lowest end of things? Are you the guy that goes up to the sky and sky's the limit? It's the only thing that's going to work here. Do you have a happy medium somewhere? I'm always giving options, whether it's a repair option, and I'm going to tell you why that's not the greatest option or it's okay option. Obviously, if the unit's 10 or 12 years old, I'm not going to ask you to do much more than a capacitor on something like that. But are we talking to them about full, complete systems? I've seen a lot of quotes this week that we're comparing against where they have a 12, 13-year-old furnace here in Houston, and I'm seeing a lot of quotes for minimal SEER rating, condenser and coil only. Now, you have to convert that furnace over for A2L refrigerants. So is that the best for your customer? Or are you just intimidated on what you're having to ask and what you have to explain? Anything I have to explain, I need to be the expert on the subject. Ductwork. A lot of folks are leaving off ductwork on your estimates. Guys, air conditioning is no longer forgiving. Okay, we're not dealing with R22, beer can cold, minimal insulation, and crappy ductwork. Crappy ductwork's got to go. I mean, in Houston specifically, 10, 15 years, it needs to be looked at. Have you seen it to where it looks like a nice spider web and it's down and it looks like a slinky that's been bent down towards that vent? Or do you see it laying on the ground and something's been chewing on it? Insulation's out. Homeowners, if you're listening to this one, if you have gone up in your attic in the last 5 years and you see it filleted open and you can see the liner on the inside, you see insulation, you see the jacket's been torn up, and the technician comes to you and says, this ductwork has to go on this new system, listen to them. They're not scamming you. Ductwork doesn't last forever. I like to compare it to my old favorite iced tea from HTO in Tomball, Texas. Brand new tea. It's a little pricey sometimes. You don't get it on special. It's $5 or $6. So if I'm going to spend $5 or $6 on a tea, why in the hell would I use a straw that's bent 16 places? That's what ductwork is. It's the delivery system of the air conditioning. So you got this fancy, expensive air conditioning, but you have no delivery system. You do not have enough supply vents. You do not have enough return air. What is return air? Return air is those vents you see on the ground, not on the ground, but on the walls that have your filters in them. That's pulling hot air back to the system. Cold air drops down, hot air gets vacuumed back into the system. Well, do you have a bedroom that you like to sleep in, but you like to close the door? And that filter grill is way on the other side. Maybe you got a big old house. Did you know that when you close that door, you're cutting off that air return? As a technician, are you explaining that? How beneficial would it be on your next visit to a homeowner when they are complaining about their bedrooms being always hot, that they add a return? It's not that much. It's not that much money compared to what they're going to get out of it. It also lets that air recycle. So that cold air comes down, that hot air goes out. You're recycling air. A lot of systems are undersized on return. Here's my thing. You can't have enough return. There's not enough thing. It's too much return. Every bedroom can have a return, especially upstairs bedrooms are a lot easier. Some people say, hey, I can't get enough air down to my master downstairs. There is ways to figure that out. Sometimes there's a sub-attic. Sometimes there's a closet we can run a duct down. But either way, your job is to not just hey, the air conditioner's not working. Here's an idea of what we should do. Give them suggestions. And if you're not comfortable with that, get comfortable. Start doing your research on what systems need to operate and operate correctly. It is our jobs, whether it's an air conditioning technician, a plumbing technician, electrician, whatever the job may be, that you're the expert in the home at the time. They're asking you for your opinion. If you don't know it, you can't give them an honest answer. Or if you're not just elaborating enough, are you explaining the details on your warranty? Do they know about your service plan that maybe covers 2 visits on a maintenance? Do they know the benefits of that? It's added value. It's not that they're not buying. They're just not buying from you. This week was a stellar week for All Star Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. We made a lot of quotes, and we received a lot of yeses. Brand new home here in my neighborhood, not brand new home, but a new customer to us, trusted us with 3 systems and all the ductwork. They called us out on one item. 10, 15-year-old systems, let's have that discussion. And if you guys have comfort advisors at your shop, then send them out there and let them explain it if you're not comfortable. Just simply giving them a diagnosis and say, yep, it's a capacitor, and we go tunnel vision into that capacitor, we put that on and that baby's back on, great. Maybe that's the option they wanted, but maybe they want a solution for later. Maybe you didn't ask if that bill was $600 or $700 a month, right? Are there other problems here? That's what we fail to do as technicians. We get tunnel vision on what that little service ticket says, and it says, hey, we got a water leak. We go right out and see the drain pan full. We haven't gone any farther to see, do they have ball valves? Do they have overflow switches? Is there ways to clean this out? Can the drain lines be reran? Is there a plumbing issue? Do you have a plumbing department? All-Star AC Plumbing and Electrical has a plumbing department. So guess what? AC guys are trained to talk to the plumber. Let the customer know, hey, we have a plumber en route if you need it. You ever looked over as an AC tech in the drain pan of the water heater and see the rust running down it and go, man, that thing's about to blow? They need to be told about that. Even if you don't have a plumber, let them know, hey, I'm up in your attic, I'm your eyes, and I am being an advocate for you. Doesn't mean you have to go high pressure sales things. That's not what I'm discussing at all. Let customers know all the information and let them make up their own minds. Don't make it up for them. I know technicians all the time that want to go to 14 SEER equipment in Houston. It's single stage, guys. It doesn't do anything. We're not removing humidity. A single stage system is BTUs in a box. That's all it is. It's cheap and it's comfortable. We're comfortable not asking for more than what we would consider is high. But you'd be surprised if you just give them options. Option A is a compressor. Option B is a 14 SEER. Option C is a 15 SEER. Here's variable speed. If y'all are not versed in variable speed, you better get with it because that's where everything's going. If I can take a 4-ton on a cooler day and ramp it down to where it's not running at full capacity, it's more efficient. Also, when I run a variable speed system much slower and not coming on 7 or 8 times in a cycle, I'm saving energy every time, and I'm dehumidifying. Variable speed is a dehumidifier. Did you know that? They're whisper quiet. Yeah, they're a little bit more up front, but what isn't for one? For two, it's going to save you in the long run. A lot of them have a much better warranty, and in some cases, it does require you to change the ductwork. Guys, we've been having customers that 20, 30-year-old ductwork, and everybody kicks it down the can, and the lady's like, I didn't even know it was like that. You're the eyeballs in the attic. Quit turning on the blinders and the tunnel vision and see what else is there. Give them the information and let them do what they will. Oftentimes, this weekend has been nuts for us. It's been absolutely nuts. Did it kill me to tell that customer about their filters while I was looking at a capacitor? Did you get there and not even check their Freon? How many times have you guys gone out and get a callback? Callbacks are ridiculous. They cost money. They cost companies fortunes. Driving across this town, Houston, Texas, are you nuts? It'd cost you $200 or $300 to have a callback, only to find out that the guy that took the dang power out and started changing the part didn't even bother to kick it back on or go check the breaker. Did you check the drains? Now that the compressor's back on, how do we know the drains aren't clogged? They got an overflow switch. Guess what? Call back 3 hours later. Do you want to keep getting sent back out for nothing? That's the alternative for some companies. They'll send your butt back out there and go fix your own problem. Ultimately, it makes the company look bad and it has customers lose their trust in your faith and your ability. So it's all about being thorough. It's not anything about overselling or using threatening techniques or anything you got to say to people to get them to buy. That's not what I'm talking about. You go to the doctor, you're not feeling well, and you say, Doc, what do I do? 15% of the people in here hopefully listen. And they do those things. Yeah, there are people that don't listen to what they say. Or they can chat GPT their own diagnosis and bring it to the doctor. If the doctor tells you need to take your heart medication, take your heart medication. Go to a doctor that you can trust that'll do that. Not just sell you a new heart. Now, You know, there's a time and a place for sales. There are. When something costs more than what it should to fix on something that's very old and you still have a lot of old parts, that's when we should have those conversations. It is up to you to educate yourself about your job. If you don't know plumbing, find out more about plumbing. If you don't know what you're doing with that electrical, you better watch out. We got a lot of new folks in this field that are giving suggestions. They need to know what they're giving, and they need to make them to where it's benefiting the customer, and let the customer decide. But you have to add value. You have to show pictures. You have to bring the customer up there in cases. My favorite thing is when I hear a condenser humming outside and I know it's low in refrigerant. Before I put my gauges, I can invite Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer out to the unit, and I'll put my S-mans on it, and before I hit the button, I say, ma'am, sir, this is what the unit should read on my low side, and here's what it should read on my high side. And then I hit open. They are expecting a number that should be there. And when it comes up 90 and it's not 140, they know it has a leak. I'm being very transparent. Show them what you're talking about. Bring them up there. Ma'am, will you lift up this white thing on the top of the float switch there? Do you see any water in there? Yes, ma'am. Now that's what's a clogged drain line. That's why we're out here today. Educate your customers. You'll have a happier customer. You're watching Focus on the Noise. I'm Ed. Thanks. Have a great one.